This is the second generation Ford F-150 Raptor. This is a drone stuck in a tree. These two are Julian and Richard.
This thing's the truth, man.
And here's a real Raptor. All of these things are tied together, as you'll soon see, but first, let's talk a bit about the truck. Raptor is a pre-runner that you can buy straight off the Ford lot. Now, these are vehicles that Baja 500 and 1000 drivers use to pre-run the course to check it out before the race. Now, Ford actually entered a Raptor just like this one, minimally modified in the Baja 1000 race, and it finished third in its class. And then the crew drove it some 400 miles home. It even ran the race with these stock tires. The first generation that packed a 6.2-liter V8 was legendary, but you know that because, well, it was legendary. Not just for its capability, but for resale too. Ford claims Raptor retained nearly 88% of it after 2 years. Gen 2 is an all-new truck with the aluminum body panels current F-150s sport, but Raptor has different and, of course, beefier frame rails. It now runs with a V6. That's okay, since this 3.5-liter high-output twin-turbocharged engine adds piston cooling oil jets and higher boost turbos over the standard EcoBoost version. It pumps out 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. That's an additional 39 horsepower and 76 pound-feet of torque over the outgoing V8. Plus, Raptor is about 500 pounds lighter now. The transmission is a 10 speed. There's a manual mode. These are as big as eagle wings. Drive modes will get you over hill and dale, dale not being of the chipmunk variety. On top of that, there are four-wheel drive modes. There are also adjustable trailer brakes in case you're doing normal pickup stuff. Finally, the steering feel can be changed. I don't have the budget to go to Baja, so this Forest Service road will have to do. Now, Martin Campbell and I drove out to Snoqualmie, Washington to test and photograph the Raptor. To get pretty pictures, I unpacked my Phantom 4 drone and promptly lodged it in a tree 90 feet up. And while trying to MacGyver a way to get it down, Julian and Richard show up, clearly jazzed about the Raptor.
God, I'll trade you straight up right now if you want, man.
We talk about the stance.
The tire base is wider, too, than a regular F-150, isn't it?
6 inches.
Is that all?
Is that all? The F-150 starts out wide.
Take a look at the suspension on this thing.
Pretty beefed up.
Yeah. Messing around with this thing.
Schnikey. Yeah.
Schnikey indeed. There's almost 2 more inches of travel in back. Ford and Fox worked together on the shocks that offer a more controlled experience on-road.
Good Lord, baby Jesus.
Yeah, those things are nice.
Julian graciously let me shoot from the back of his Explorer since snagging my drone and recovering the footage looked bleak. Even on this rough road, the ride is very comfortable, very controlled, like a big Subaru. A very big Subaru.
I didn't think I would like it. I was like, oh, they're going to redo it. You know, I love the old body style, the 6.2 liter, but it probably has better gas mileage too, doesn't it?
Yes, a whopping 23% improvement over the V8. Still, the EPA-rated average fuel economy is 16 miles per gallon. In two-wheel drive, the back end gets a little squirrely. I've got it in 4 auto. Works like a champ. Now, this setting is kind of an all-wheel drive-like mode for conditions like gravel, snow, and heavy rain. Raptor is more capable in tackling extreme conditions than a standard F-150. The approach and departure angles are better. You'd almost have to try to get this rig stuck. Because it's oriented to off-roading, towing is a little less than normal F-150s. Raptor can tug up to 8,000 pounds. The V6 does not have the V8's growl.
The look is one thing, but it's got to sound like a Raptor still, right?
If that's a deal breaker.
It sounds like a race car, yeah?
As for the cabin, Julian likes it a bit more than me.
For real? Yeah. Oh, this is crazy nice, man.
This is no fancy pants King Ranch model. There's a purposeful look about the interior. An optional package puts real carbon fiber trim here, but it's $1,000. These can be assigned to aftermarket gear, such as off-road lights and compressors. Heated and vented seats allow for a comfy way to cross the desert, and a surround view camera system will make sure you don't back into any cactus. At heart, Raptor is an F-150, and that means there's all sorts of places to stash things away. The Sync 3 user interface is a big step up from Sync 2. I'm not going to do the TP trunk test because pickups are for carrying plywood and sheetrock. This one has a few tricks up its sleeve, or in its tailgate.
No way! I'm 255 pounds. It took it like it was nothing to me. That is cool, man.
Yeah.
Right on, guys. Nice truck, man.
Oh, but wait, Julian. There's more.
No way.
Oh, look at that.
Let me get all prim and proper here. You know? Look at that. Take my dainty self down. That is badass.
There are other fine qualities about the bed as well, but I don't want to get Julian and Richard too excited. Lighter and more powerful means faster. Now, there's a strong chance that many Raptors will be bought just for the, and I'll quote Julian, badass image, so on-road performance is important. It would be easy to assume that Raptor is a beast on-road. It's not. Yes, it's wider than a standard F-150, but it's pretty easy to drive on a day-to-day basis, surprising in a good way. Wouldn't want to do it in dense city traffic regularly, though. Remember, it's 6 inches wider than an F-150. It tracks smartly without much stray off-center, and the suspension that soaks up giant ruts and gullies is mighty comfy on-road. Not too loud either. The cabin is pretty quiet, which almost makes me forget about my drone. Producing this piece has been an ordeal. My Phantom 4 is someplace in one of these trees. It took about an hour of intense searching to find it because, well, turns out I managed to snag the tallest tree around. It hit so hard the battery popped out. All of this must have been great entertainment to this guy, who watched me try to retrieve the drone all afternoon. Either that or he just had to make a cameo in a Raptor video. Either way, kind of cool. All right, back to the Ford Raptor. This Super Cab is the smallest of the two available. It's not for the uncoordinated. Seats flip up to keep large valuables locked away back here, and there's no shortage of options to charge electronics. I'm 5'9", and though I'm not cramped back here, larger friends will certainly prefer the Super Crew Cab. It's more expensive. Have them chip in. So, summing up the Raptor, it's a comfortable pickup that can be used for everyday use. Julian and Richard aren't the only ones to react this way.
Get me one, guys.
It's very impressive and clearly a rock star. Starting at about $52,000, nearly $63,000 is tested. It's not cheap, and I suspect few owners will come close to taxing the abilities, but Ford will probably sell all they make, because excess seems to clear a path to success. All right, wondering if I ever got my drone out of the tree? Well, I tried everything. I tied a string to a tennis ball to get it stuck in a branch so I could shake it out. That didn't work. The drone was too high. Then I used a similar approach with a golf ball and a wrist rocket. Still couldn't launch it high enough. My friend Nelson brought his pickup out and we tried shaking the tree with a rope, which snapped. And I tried getting the golf ball high enough into a tree with another Phantom 4, but the pendulum effect that the ball created nearly sent the drone careening into other trees. Things did not look good until I called these guys on a Hail Mary and was told, sure, I know exactly where that is. We'll be there in a half an hour. Seriously. And sure enough, Tony got his gear out and scampered up the tree. You might be wondering why I didn't just fire up my chainsaw. Well, the tree was on private property, and here in the Northwest, folks don't take kindly to people randomly cutting them down. It was even tough for a pro like Tony to get high enough, but with this pole, he was just able to grab it, but it shifted. Not his fault, and that was that. But in testament to how tough a Phantom 4 is, the drone turned out to be perfectly fine after I got new propellers. So between Martin Campbell, Rob Calero, Nelson Nakata, and Tony here, this video took a village to produce. Thanks, guys. You too, Julian and Richard. One final diversion off what is supposed to be a vehicle review. The area where I shot this video is near North Bend, Washington, where the exteriors for the original Twin Peaks TV show were shot.
Damn, suddenly I'm in the mood for cherry pie.
And the crews are back working on the new version.
Well, that was an ordeal. At least I got to be here, which is beautiful. Unfortunately, I had to come out here 4 times to get the dang thing. Shooting cars is not always fun. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.